Hey guys, Youngblood with you, and today we're going to do a little chat about Project OUADEEN, a piece of in-fiction type lore that we got a few days ago from CIG. Now there's going to be a link in the description if you want to go and have a read, but I'll kind of give you the general rundown and then what it's all in likelihood that they're building up to. For those of you that have been avoiding the spoilers at all cost, I'll tell you when to stop watching, but have faith. This is going to be okay up until that point. Now, what I am going to end up talking about here has been shown to a certain extent by CIG, and it was in the massive data leak that gave up a bunch of assets. But if you've avoided everything to just be totally surprised in the campaign, don't watch after I tell you, and I would probably suggest not reading the comments below as well. So we start off with a communication from one person named Shirei Facius to PubMud, and they appear to be data thieves, hackers, or some sort of info runner. And Shirei starts talking about how he's returning an earlier favor by repaying him with military data that he stole for military data stolen by Pub earlier in this relationship. Shirei states that he was in the Davian system, which I covered in one of our system videos. And in that system, there is the Aegis Dynamics factory planet, so it's a high likelihood that there's military stuff happening there. And he was scanning this thick trunk of data that was secure. Now, during a tough bit of hacking effort, he ended up inside the line and was able to capture data, but only for 3 milliseconds prior to the security shutting him out. It actually ended up happening so fast that he wasn't really sure how they cut him out that fast, but he was able to get out clean, despite just barely avoiding traces that were sent after him. After ending up in safety, Shirei opens up the packet to find out that images were included, and they appear to be the outlines of a ship that's being constructed, and the title Project OUADEEN was listed, and wondering if his friend had ever heard about this project. Pub ends up responding with the harsh quote, "Delete it. Delete everything. Scrub hard. If this is how you square things, consider us square." And Shirei was a bit frustrated by that, and he said that he deleted the information, but now was going to demand to know why he had to do that. Pub, being very paranoid at this point, told him that he needed to read this quick because this message was going to end up getting wiped out in 30 seconds, but told him that he had heard about OUADEEN years ago from a Navy friend, and that friend is now a former friend because he ended up vanishing. They didn't kill him, they didn't court-martial him, or anything along those lines. The dude just ended up vanishing. And the only things he really knew about it was that it had more security and more financial backing than anything he's ever seen before. And it was surrounding the construction of the most powerful warship ever constructed. Though he did think this project ended up getting scrapped at some point. The Navy has it set as super confidential, and everything about it's really been locked down at this point. Even after just a lot of digging, he could hardly find anything in records anywhere. And he said it's really just not worth his trouble to keep looking into it, and that's the end of the transmission. Now, I think we can clearly assume that this is some sort of big-ass ship that's being constructed, especially looking at these visuals from the communication. And you can kind of see that what looks to be little cranes down at the bottom, and you have to assume that those are very large. Now, if this is some captured alien technology or UEE construction project, we're not real positive, but it's clearly military involvement and is clearly highly confidential. This would be the point to stop watching if you've been avoiding any sort of this type of information. No, seriously, I'm moving on. The images that are shown in this transmission are very similar, even though they're granulated to the Retribution class Super Dreadnought UEE ship. The lines are similar, the size appears similar, and it seems almost obvious that this could be a real kind of build-up to what could be a pretty epic moment in Squadron 42. On the screen, I've got images that have been pulled, but the Dreadnought is a massive warship, with landing pads, large guns, and an absurd railgun right down the center line. If my guess is right, in the campaign, we'll probably have some very tough battles with the Vandal, and we may even be considered on the losing side of the war for a period of time until this thing ends up being unleashed. Maybe even for an in-game version of Operation Pitchfork in some, climactic battle over the Vandal home planet. This thing makes the Vandal kingship look small, and it really ends up dwarfing the already extremely large Bengal. So I'm excited to get more information about this, but I really enjoy seeing the lore leading up to it. But one thing that's for certain is that flying by this thing is going to just be a flat-out unreal experience. So if you think it could be something else, let me know, but I think this is fairly conclusive. But if you have questions, ask. Otherwise, have yourselves a wonderful day. Stay tuned for more content, and I'll catch you all later. Take care.